Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alex Garcia. I'm a software support specialist over here at Distributor Central. Today's webinar, we're going to be going over how to edit your website. So you have this will come in handy. You already have a website created, whether you chose one of our templates, you've already had a website from the past, or you're using one of our older templates, and you want to get in there and either update it or you want to start customizing it. So this webinar will help you do that. Feel free to ask questions along the way in the chat, and I'll save about 5 to 10 minutes at the end to answer any of your guys' questions, but we'll go ahead and get started. So in order to access and change the website, you need to get into your Distributor Central account, which you basically just log into your DC account. Once you log in, it'll take you to the home page, just like always, as you see here. We're just going to come over to the Websites tab on the left-hand side, Hosting Manager. This is going to list all your current websites that you currently have, whether they're active or inactive. And so for this one, I'm going to focus on distributor promotions. So I'm just going to click Manage. And then I'm going to click Edit. Once this loads, and you'll see it right here, and that's going to take me into the website editor where I can do all of my edits and customization to the website. So when we built this and we designed this in-house, we tried to make it as user-friendly as possible. So if you don't know anything about website design, graphics, all that stuff, you should be able to get in here, customize your website, edit it, get it looking the way you want it to look. And if you are familiar with more technical, like CSS, HTML, JavaScript, or website design in general, you can get in here and build it from scratch too, or you can add custom CSS, custom HTML. So you make it very flexible. So either person, everyday user, or more advanced can use it. So once you log into your website editor, we're basically going to go over these tabs up here. So we'll start with the blocks tab. We'll go over the different types of blocks and kind of break down to what each one are. After we go over the blocks, we'll go over the home page and we'll edit some of these so you can see how to do that. And then we'll finish up on the settings where you can go in, and like I mentioned, you can update the colors without knowing like CSS or HTML, and we'll show you how to do that with the global themes that we already have preset. So all the website editor is basically different types of blocks do different things, and you have to determine what kind of content you want on each page. So once you understand the block types, it's the same thing for every page you create. So like for instance, picture block is for images, written content block is multi-purpose block, which you'll see here when we go over the blocks in a second. So if you look on the left-hand side, you'll see your main menu. You have your header, your current page, and your footer. So header and footer are the information that's going to transfer over to every page. Whatever you put in the header or whatever you put in the footer will show up on every page. And then obviously the current page is the current page you're working on. So as I mentioned, each section has its own different block types. They're the same block types in each sec, but there's 3 different sections. So for this one, we would want to just focus on the current page, unless you want to change something in the header that you want to show up on every page. So you can see all the information here that's currently in the header, and then in the footer, and then on the current page. If you look over here in the left-hand column, you'll notice you see these rows here, and then the plus next to the row. So that's how you're going to access the different block types. So if I click on the plus, you'll see here that these are all the block types that we have. So as I mentioned, it's just a bunch of different block types that do different things, and you just determine which blocks you want to use on your website. So we'll start out at the top here with the carousel. So the carousel is going to be like a scrolling image marquee of images that you select, and you'll see that here in the background, and you'll see it when we go over the home page. So you can select different types of images. You can select the duration, the transition that it goes from one to another. So a lot of different things you can do there. Contact form is basically going to grab the information from your Distributor Central account, whatever you have in your contacts, and you can find your contacts on the dashboard. So if you had to go back to the dashboard, it's right here, the hosting manager. So normally by default, you're going to have a main contact. And then if you go in, some people will add sales, customer service. So this allows you to choose it. And basically it will fill in it will grab your information that you filled in with your contact and automatically apply it to that block. I'm sorry, that's the contact information form. The contact form is what you'll normally find on the contact us page. It's going to be a form they can fill out, but it does go back to the contact types that I was talking about. You can determine which email notification you want it to go to. By default, it'll just go to your main when somebody fills it out. Contact information is what I was talking about previously. You pick the contact type that you want to show up, and it'll automatically fill in the information for you. You don't have to do anything. Custom CRM is a little bit more advanced. That's if you want to like build your own form for them to fill out, and it will autofill like their name, their address, even the order number. So if you know HTML, you can work on the custom CRM, and we have more information on that on our help guides if you want to look into that. Display website link is simply it's just going to display the link to your website. Document, it gives you the ability to upload, so you can display PDFs, Word docs, you know, Excel, whatever kind of document you might have. You can use the document block after you've uploaded it on your website, and then pick which document you want to show up. Email a friend is just going to be a little box that pops up, and you can that way when they're looking at your website, if somebody wanted to email their friend about it or send it to somebody else, they can send it via that email a friend option. Featured product is going to give you the capability to showcase any product in our database that you want to show up. A lot of people will use this on their homepage. They might have 3 or 4 featured products for the month or for the week, you know, and you can update those as you see fit. It will automatically, what it does is it pulls in the data from whatever product you select, so you don't have to do anything but just go in there and pick which item number you want, and it'll pull in all the information for you. File upload is just basically a download area where a lot of people will use this for like artwork. They'll create a page for artwork or just file uploads in general. And that gives your customer the capability to upload files, and then you'll get a notification to your email, and you'll also get it on your Distributor Central account that you'll be able to check it out. Headline is just more pronounced text, as you can see here where it says top sellers, and it's more capitalized. It's going to be similar to that. A horizontal line is basically just a line all the way across. So if you want to do like a break, and you can, if you know CSS, HTML, you can determine the thickness of the line, the color, all that good stuff. Link is going to pull from the link library. So this will be any links that you've created within your Distributor Central website, or any external ones that you've added in there that you want to add. Link bar is going to give you the ability to do multiple links instead of just the one. So you can have multiple links side by side, horizontally, vertically. Login block is going to give your customers the ability to log into their account right away, so they can log in or they can create an account before they actually go through and place an order. Otherwise, it'll prompt them to do that once they get the order process going. The login and cart bar is the same thing, so it'll give them a chance to view what's in the cart, and then they can also log in if they want to. Nav bar is basically like a menu bar, navigation bar that you'll see on a lot of websites at the very top. It's usually in the footer or in the header, and it carries over to every page. So it have like homepage, about us, contact, you know, all the, as you can see up here, home, about us, contact. So that's the navigation bar. Order status is just going to be a form that your customers can fill out and submit to you to check on the status of their order. So it'll have the fields already there for them to fill in. Picture block is for images. So like for your logos, for images in general, whatever you want to add, graphics, use a picture block. Product category list is going to be a list of our master categories or categories in general. So like apparel, caps, and hats, writing accessories, stuff like that that you've seen in the back end when you're searching for products and you're looking through the categories. You can just use the product category list and it'll display it there. Product of the day is going to pull in the product of the day automatically. So if you go back to your dashboard real quick, go to your home page, and you'll come down here and you'll see the product of the day. Whatever's loading on for the product of the day on the home page of the dashboard will show on, so right here, this, if you use that product of the day block, it's going to show that on your website. Automatically will update. If there is no product of the day, it'll leave it at the previous product of the day, so you don't have to worry about updating that. Product ribbon is basically going to allow you to pull in a collection. So if you created a collection for tumblers, let's say, you can focus that in the product ribbon. As you see here with the ribbon in the background, the top sellers. So that's pulling in a top sellers collection. It allows you to choose out of your collections that you've created what you want to showcase. And it's similar to, go back to the dashboard here, it looks similar to this where it's just going to have a couple thumbnails and then it'll have the arrow that they can cycle through. And these will randomize each time. It's pulling from that collection though that you have, so you can determine what you want it to pull from. Product tag list, it allows you the ability to tag a product if you want to. So another way you could build a collection is if, let's say you were looking for tumblers again, and you find tumblers and you just start tagging them on your website, then you can build a list from that using this block. Quick search is what you see up here. So it's just going to give your customers the ability to search through for products by item number or keyword. And you can determine which collection they search through, and we'll show you that here in a second. Quote form, just another form. You can determine the fields that they have to fill out. We have predetermined fields and then we have additional fields. So you can take a look at that. A lot of people will create a page and just put that block on that page. Like request a quote is very popular. And then your customers can fill out the information that they need on that form and submit it to you. You'll get a notification. Just like with anything else with the forms, you have control over where the notification goes via email. RSS newsfeed, that's going to be like if you have a feed generator and you want to have a feed on your website, you can use that block. Social media link bar gives you the ability to use your social media pages, so Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, just to name a few. And we provide the icons already for you. All you have to do is provide the link to your page. And you'll see that here at the bottom of this one when we go over the home page. And last but not least is a written content block. So the written content block is the most versatile block. As you've seen as I've gone through this, each one of these blocks has kind of their own thing that they do, whereas the written content block is the most versatile and you can do multiple things. So let's say you wanted to have a headline, you wanted to have an image, and then you wanted to have a link or something underneath it. You could do that all in the written content block instead of doing 3 different separate blocks. You could just do it all in the written content. And I'll show you an example of that once we get into this homepage here. So basically, those are the block types. And as I mentioned, it's just a matter of what blocks do you want on what page. And it's going to be the same thing for every page. So once you get the hang of it, you know, it'll be a lot easier to get going on creating additional pages and or updating your current site. So after we go over that, we'll start breaking down into, we'll look at how do you edit the block. So like I said, we'll go over the home page here real quick. So there's a couple ways to edit the block or change the information. You can either highlight over your mouse, and we'll just start here at the top, and you can double click on your mouse and it'll pull it up, or you can click on these pencils. So you can see the pencils are all on every block here, and that'll allow you to edit it. So pencil or double click. And also if you click on it, like I'll just go down here and just click once, it'll highlight it in the menu over here and let you know where it's at. And you're noticing it's also expanding too. So what that is that's more additional features on the block. And you can see, we'll go over that here real quick. You can see visibility. So visibility, right now it's available to see on everything. Let's say I didn't want this to be seen on the cell phone. I could just click on it. And then if I go to the cell phone view up here, you can see it's gone. And so you can determine which blocks you want to appear on. These are responsive websites, so they're going to transition down to mobile, tablet, laptop, and of course desktop. But if you want to even customize it further, you can change the visibility, or you can do public or private. So by default, most of the and all of the website templates are going to be public, which means anybody can see all the content on it. If you switch it to private, that means that only people that have a login will be able to view the information that you have marked private. Next, you'll see the width. So if we look at the width here, you can see it's already set. And if you see these blue lines, that means you can adjust it. If there's not a blue line, just click on the lock. So if I went to product of the day, and let's say I wanted to extend it across the whole page, I just come here and just move it over, and you can see now it's going across the whole page, and then I'll have it match with my laptop version too. Offset will allow you to move it. So if I wanted to do, I'll show you an example here real quick. So if I had it here, and then maybe I want to move it more to the middle of the page, I can use the offset and move it to the middle of the page. Be careful with that though, because you want to make sure if you do use offset that you look at the different versions and make sure it still looks good. I wouldn't recommend using Reorder, because Reorder you can actually overlap. So if I come over here and I do it, you can see it's overlapping the about our company. So I would focus mainly, if you're going to do anything, on the width and then the offset, and then kind of stay away from the Reorder for now. And if you have any questions about that, just let us know. So we'll get this back here. And that's with any block. So you notice when I clicked on it, it opened up like that. You don't have to do that. If I wanted to start out at the home or at the very top, I can just click on the little arrow and it'll take me to that. So you can see here that the navigation bar is not displaying that we have here on any of them, but we have a global nav bar up here, so it's a little bit different. But you can click on any of these arrows and you'll see it'll automatically expand, and you'll see the additional settings that you can do for the block. So let's start at the top, and we'll go over the nav bar first. So if I just double click on the nav bar, you can see here, and that's the navigation bar I was telling you about earlier. And this is where most people will have all their pages that customers can access, or they'll have drop downs, stuff like that. So you can see here I have the home page, about us, contact us, art upload, which is going to have that file upload block on it that we talked about, my account, and then sign in. If it looks like this and you see it's cut off, just scroll down and you come over here and you can scroll over, and then you can see everything. It depends on like your monitor size or if you're zoomed in or anything like that. But you can move these around. Just click on it and drag it. So I could move stuff over to the left-hand side. Let's say I want to move this over, and I want to move the products over, and then I'm going to move the contact us right there, and then I'll just leave it like that for now. Click done, and you can see that the home's moved over, but I'll move it back for now just so we'll have it the same. And if you wanted to do a drop down, so from here you can add links, which goes to the link library, which we'll talk here in a second. If you click on plus, it'll add, these are all the links that are currently came with the template or any that you've created, and you can add them to your navigation bar here. If you want to do a drop down, you can click plus group, and let's say I wanted to do catalogs, click OK. And then if I come over here, and I'll move that over towards products, or let's say I don't want products, so I'm just going to click on the trash can and get rid of that. Come over here to catalogs, and then I'm just going to click the plus within it, and then I can start adding my links again from the link library. So if I wanted writing tools, add another link, athletic wear, I'm just adding a couple different ones that were already in here, backpacks. So you can see now I have that, click done, and now I have a drop down menu that I can go ahead and utilize in my navigation bar. Moving on to the logo. So let's say that your company, we're either working on a website that you've had for a while and you want to update your logo, or you just need to update your logo in general. I'm just going to do the double click again. And so I'm going to go ahead and pick an image. If the image is not in your image library, then you have to pull it from your desktop, load it into your image library, and then you can use it on your website. So if I click upload images, it's going to pull from my desktop, and I'm going to go to my website folder that I have, pull in this, click open, it's going to load it, click done, add it there. And then you can see I can change the size of it too if I wanted to. I can use the width that we talked about earlier, which I'll show you here in a second. It's already linked to my homepage, but if I wanted to go somewhere else, I can do that. I can pick an option to have it open in a different window, but I'll just click done for now. And then if I go over here and just shrink it down, I can shrink down the size of my logo, and then we'll move on to the next one. So double click here. Right now you can see it's at the all products collection. And then you can change the placeholder text if you want to. So I could say enter item number keyword. You can put whatever you want there. Instant search goes back to our intelligent search engine. So once you start typing in something, the system is looking for predetermining what you're typing in. You can have that turned on. And so you can see that it's updated there in the placeholder text. So I'm just going to keep moving down. Double click here, which we're on that link bar that I was telling you about. So the link bar, the difference between the link bar and the navigation bar, and you can use the navigation bar in other places besides at the top of the website at the in the header. With the link bar, you can do one drop down set. So you can see here that we already had it created apparel, and they have men's apparel. Now, if I wanted to create another drop down within here, maybe go polos, so apparel, men's apparel, polos, I wouldn't be able to do that in the link bar. I'd have to use like the navigation bar because you can have multiple levels of drop downs in that. But you can add drop down groups just like in the link bar or in the navigation bar, or you can just have a link by itself. So it's up to you how you want to do that. You can see all the different options here. And if I go down, the next thing I'm going to double click on, and you can see it's highlighting over here. And you'll notice that as we've gone through this, I'm going to show you this real quick. As we've gone through this over here, you've noticed that with everything that we've done so far, you've seen the name of the block. So once you add the block, it's going to be the name of the block. And then you can see here that this says LG and XL Carousel. So if you double click on the block, I can change this to like logo. This comes in handy when you want to kind of organize over here to kind of see where everything is. But when you're first getting started out, recommend just leaving it the same name as the block. That way you kind of know where it's at. And then when you're more comfortable with it, you can start labeling it, and that'll help you out. But I'm just going to go ahead and double click on it. And you can see all the different settings that I was talking about earlier, whether you want it to auto play, the delay, open in a new window, animation, adjust the height, show pagination bullets and arrows. And then you come down to the slides. So these are the slides that came with it. Now let's say that I want to update something for like summer, so I want to do like towels, and I want to do stuff that's more geared towards summer and not just the one that came with the template. So excuse me, what you can do is and we just recently started this, but if you go to our main website, so distributorcentral.com, come over here to resources, and then if you go to graphics for your website, you can see here that we have bundles that are available. So people ask us all the time, how do I change out the images in the carousel? You can make them yourself, and if you do decide to make them yourself, 1600 by 400 pixels is a good size. Or you can come and check out our latest bundles. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this one over here. I'm going to click on it. It's going to download to my computer. I'm going to open it real quick and extract the zip file. To the folder that I have all my stuff in that I'm working on. It's best for organization purposes, to create separate folders on your desktop and just put all your information in one spot. That way you're not searching all over your computer for the files and whatnot. So I'm going to select the folder, click extract. and now it's moved to that folder. So if I go over to the editor again, double click, to replace these templates, I can leave these and add more if I want to. You can have as many as you want. Or I can do the remove the slide. So if I wanted to remove it, I can remove that one, and then in order to remove this one, you would just replace it, or you can delete the block. And this is with any block. You've seen this red trash can down here. You can delete it, and that will get rid of the block. But I want to replace this one, so I'm going to go to my image library. I don't have it in here currently, so I'm going to go upload images, and you'll see that that's the one that I previously did. I'm going to come to select files, and I'm going to select the ones that I just did. You can do multiple ones at once, and it's going to download all these for me. And these will give me the ability to update the images in my carousel. So now they're added. Now what I can do is click on this, go to my new image, one of my new images that I just downloaded. So take me to the beach, click add a slide, face mask since we're in COVID with everything going on. Come over here and add another one, and we'll do like towels. So we'll just do 3 for now and click done, and you see it automatically update. Another thing you want to do, I mentioned the 1600 by 400. It doesn't have to be that exact size, but you definitely want to keep them the same size. That way, the smooth transition between each slide. So now you can see that I've updated those. I can even add when I build collections. So I build collections, I can add links to them. So if I had a collection for beach towels, I could link it to that. Face mask, I could link it to that. Or anything you wanted to link it to, you would be able to link it to in that situation there. Moving on, gonna go to the next one in the list. Double click on it, and you can see it's the product ribbon that we were talking about earlier. So it's pulling, right now I have it set to collections, and these are all the collections that I currently have on my website. So just all products and top sellers. So I can leave it at top sellers collection. If I've created other collections, I can select any collection I want to show up in here. Once you add it in there, it's automatically going to fill in the ribbon title the same, but you can change this to whatever you want. So if I wanted to do like featured products, I could do that, hit done, and then we'll move on to the next one, product of the day. So if you don't want that, you can delete it. One thing you can change is the name of it. So the heading, if you want to change that, you can. But that's the one that I mentioned earlier that will automatically pull in. Here's that written content block that we were talking about earlier, the most versatile one. So like I said, if you know HTML, CSS, you click on source and you can see all the HTML there, or you can just type it in here. You can link, which you have a link here to the About Us page built in. You can add text, you could add images, so you can do, indentation, alignment, bold, italicize, all different kinds of things in just this one block. Like I said, it's the most versatile block. So if you wanted to do multiple things in one area, written content block would be the way to go instead of doing like just 3 different blocks altogether, separate blocks. Here's another written content block just with a heading in it. And then here's another good example. So this is a written content block that has a video added to it. So if I click on the pencil, I'll just do the pencil this time. You can see here that we have the embed code in there, and all you have to do is paste that into the source, and then it'll automatically pop up the video. Here's a quick contact form. So if I double click on it that we talked about earlier, you can control. So you can see right here, I have customer service and main. By default, you'll just have main, but then once you create more contacts, they'll be here in the list that you can choose from. You can do a message, like a reply message or a message when it's submitted. You have the option to choose different fields here. By default, it's going to be first name, last name, email, but then you can choose additional fields if you want. Just another link bar right here, just double click and you can see, whereas before we had the drop down with all the links, these are just links to different pages. So you can do either or a combination of both. Once again, have a logo down here. So if I have a logo, I can update that, and that's in a written content block. So before, up at the top, we did the picture block. And remember, I told you written content block is really versatile. So you can do just a picture and a written content block if you wanted to. So if I wanted to replace this, I would just delete this out, click on the little image icon, browse images, which takes us back to our image library. Find my logo, which I believe it's on page 1. And we'll make it to the right, hit OK, hit done. And then you can see it's over there, ready to go. If I wanted to make it smaller, you can see this little black box. I can click and drag, make it smaller. That looks good right there. Last but not least on this page is the social media link bar that we were talking about. So you can see here that there's icons already there. So if I double click on there, you can see I can add a link. So if I want to add a link, you can do email. All these different social media platforms, they have the icons ready to go. And then if you just paste in your page, if you don't have anything and you just leave your template the way it is, it'll just take you to the main page of those social media platforms. So you can get in there and customize it. You know, if you have, like I said, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. So let's say you didn't have LinkedIn, you can remove LinkedIn and then just have those 3 show up. As we're making these changes, if you want to view any changes you've made, you've seen little snapshots over here of the changes that I've made, but in order to make it live, you have to click save. Once you click save, then if you come up here above the settings tab, you'll see a live preview button. I can live preview it, and you'll see a notification up here in the top left that lets you know that you're previewing it. And then from there, you can kind of see the changes that you've made. You can also pull up your website if you had to too. That way you can see all the changes. Take a look here. So here you can see we added the drop down. We added our logo. We made this wider, which we should probably make this wider too, just to kind of even it up, or we could bring it up here. I'll show you how to do that real quick. And then we added our logo down here. And you can see it says previewing right there, so you can see that it's actually a preview. But once you save it, it goes live. The changes are live and they're ready to go. So let's go back down here, and let's say we want to bring this up next to this. So what we're going to do is just click on it, find out where it's at, and you can see this is maxed out with the width. So I'm just going to bring the width back. And as I bring the width back, you can see the other block starts coming with it. So when I went over the different rows, those would come in handy if you wanted things to be on its own row. So you can see these are in the same row together. So if I shrink down the width of one block, I can bring up the other block after it to the same line. If you want it on a different line and you don't want it all together, you can extend the width or you can start a new row. And start a new row, you'll see this add row, and then it just the same process that we went through. Click the plus sign and add the block that you wanted to show. So next thing we'll go over is the Pages tab. So here you have all the pages that came with the website already. So the About, Account, Art Upload, Cart, Catalog, Contact, Home, Ideas, Order, Product, and Quote Request. So you can see Quote Request isn't currently on there, so I can add that in if I want to. If you want to edit a page, so all the pages here, the ones that we've created that you can create too, is like Quote Request, Art Upload, Contact. The system pages are going to be Account, Catalog, Order, and Product. So you don't want to mess with those pages, but any of the other pages you can create and edit. So let's say I want to change this to Request a Quote. I can click on it. Let me go ahead and save my changes first. I can click on the page and it'll activate the page. Once the page is activated, if you come back to blocks, you'll see that if you wanted to add content on this, you can add content. But you're looking at it right now and you're saying, okay, there's stuff on the top and the bottom. And that's what I was talking about earlier, is all the information in the header and the footer is carrying over to this new page, but there's nothing on the current page. So if I want to click on this and I want to do the quote form, so now you can see I have a quote form here ready to go. And if I double click on it, once again, I can pick where it goes. So I'm gonna have customer service. I can pick which fields I want. So we'll say, take away a lot of this stuff. And we'll just keep a couple things on there, make it simple. And so you can see now I've shrunken it down to a simple form here. And then, like I said, I changed it to customer service, click done. And now I have this added to that page. I'm gonna click save. I'm gonna go back to pages real quick because I wanna change the name of it. So I'll click edit pages, go to quote request, hit edit, and then we're going to go here and change this to request a quote. And you can change the slug to whatever you want. It doesn't have to be the same thing. So I could do RAQ if I wanted to, just as a short. And then it's been added and updated. And you can see here, now it's updated. If you wanted to go in and create a new page, you just click add new page, and then we'll just leave it at new page for now. And you can see the slug. With the slug, you can't have any spaces. Any spaces will be a hyphen or a dash. But then when you click save new page, it's going to add it. And then in order to add content to it, you just click on it like before. And once you click on it, it's going to load that page. And once it loads that page, then you can go in, you can do, you can actually get going on the content for that page. So you can see, let's see here, something weird's going on. Let me get back into it real quick. So I'm just gonna go website hosting manager, manage, edit. It's gonna take me to the website editor. And then the page that I created, new page, you would just click on this page. So any of these pages, so like let's say if I did art upload and I click on that, it's going to take me to the page. If the content's already on there, you can just double click like we were talking about, or you can come over here to the blocks and then you'll see current page and all the content will be on there. You can click on the pencils or whatever you need to do there. Next thing we're gonna go over is the library tab. So I'll go back to home real quick. So you can see there's different types of stuff in here, whereas custom URL, documents, images, and links. Document, images, and links are going to be that we talked about earlier, that you're going to upload that information from your desktop, and then you're going to be able to use it onto your website. So custom URL is basically going to allow you to create a slug at the end of your, if you have your domain, or if you just have, you're using the DC promo site, and you can create a custom URL. So if I go back to the example for like tumblers as an example, let's say I go to my website, I pull it up, and I do tumblers, and I want to create a page for this. So if I copy that URL, you can see that the long GUID and everything at the end there, I can copy that, and then I can have it say basically distributorpromos.dcpromosite.com, or your domain if you have one, /P, and then it would / whatever I name the slug. and that's what the custom URL is going to come in handy. This would also help with the SEO if you're transitioning over to Distributor Central and you have a domain attached to it and you have certain pages that Google has crawled, and you have history there. You can create a custom URL that'll take it exactly to that page using that URL, previous URL, and it'll take you, that way you don't lose that URL. Documents, same thing. So if you upload documents, it's just going to pull from your desktop. I can upload any kind of documents I want. This comes in handy when you use the document block type, which will allow you to pull from your documents. Now, images you've seen as we've gone through and done like the picture block and the carousel. But you can upload once you upload your images, you can use any of the images in your image library on your website, wherever you want to use them. And it's so just as you've seen me do, and I'll just show you again. If it's not in there, just click upload images, select file, and then it pulls from your desktop, and then you can get it uploaded into the library, and then you can use it wherever you want on your site. Links is the same thing. So these are all the links that we've already created, whether they're collections, they've been created within the template, or if you've created links for like an outside, maybe you have a website outside of Distributor Central or something that you want to be able to link on your Distributor Central website that takes you to an outside website. You can do it here by clicking add new link, and you can go in here and you can add a link. You can update and then make sure you include the full URL with the HTTPS in there, and then just save it. And then you can use any of these links anywhere you want, whether it's navigation bar, link bar. This allows you to use it anywhere on your website. And then the last but not least is the settings. So the settings is going to give you the ability to come in, like I said earlier, if you know CSS, HTML, you can see that there's edit CSS. So if I click on that, I can come down here and I can edit different blocks, and all the CSS is down here ready to go. So if you know that, you can get in there and edit it. And I'll show you another thing on that real quick and towards the end. You can add a favicon. So favicon would be like this little just icon that shows up in the browser tab. So you can add the favicon, just click edit icon, and it'll tell you it needs to be a PNG 512 by 512. If you have Google Analytics, you can add meta tags, or if you're doing like keywords, you can add that to the meta tags. If you have, like, you want to do a live chat, if you want to incorporate MailChimp to sign up for a news mailer, you want that to pop up right when a customer comes to your website. You can edit the custom HTML in the header, or for the footer at the bottom for like a live chat or something like that. Let's say you want to update the colors. You can come over here to global theme, and you can see all these themes that we already have pre-built. So if I change it to any of these, you can see that it's automatically going to update the colors here. If I wanted to do black, let's say I wanted to do this one, you can just play around with them and see what colors you like. If you don't see one in here that you like, you can create your own, and I'll show you that here in a second. But just kind of go through it and look at them and see which one you like the best, and it'll automatically apply. So we'll do that since it kind of matches close to that color there. Click save. And then just kind of to close it out here with the editor part, as I mentioned earlier, as you're doing this, you can view how it will look on your cell phone, your tablet, your laptop, and of course your desktop. Recommend doing any editing and stuff on your desktop or laptop. And then if you need to adjust the way it looks on the other ones, you can. So if you wanted to do, like for instance, if I go back to blocks and I just want to see, I want to adjust how it looks on the cell phone view, I can go in here and then start making edits, whether I hide certain things from the cell phone view, so on and so forth. So kind of going back to this global theme, if you are familiar with CSS, once again, you can get in there. And if you look at these blocks types, this is a little more advanced, and we'll have more information on this later on, but I just wanted to quickly show you guys in case you guys are familiar with it. You can come over to any of these blocks and click on the edit or just double click, and you'll notice up here it says block style. So it already has a CSS class, which is DC picture. So you can use that in the CSS, or you can create your own custom class. Or if you want to just do it all at once and go off of the theme, that goes back to the theme editor that I was talking about. So if you go over to back to your dashboard, which it'll say hosting manager, and then we'll go to the way you get there is websites, hosting manager, and then you'll come over here to edit themes, and then add new theme, and then I can call it DC promos. And now you want to pick your base theme. So what's the theme that you currently are using when you created your website? Which template did you pull from? In this case, I did Inspire. So I'm going to come down here to Inspire, click Create Theme. And now you can see that it's ready to go. Like I said, this is a little bit more advanced, but if you are familiar with CSS, you can get and enter in, change the brand primary. So let's say that I know my hex code and I want to change the brand primary to the color more of my logo. I just add it in there. Actually, let me do this one. I'll just add it in there, and that's more towards the color of my logo. I'll hit save, and then I'll go back to my website. If you don't have it pulled up, it'll automatically load in there, but if you have it pulled up, you just need to reload your website editor. And then once it reloads here, I'll be able to go in and let me go back this other way real quick. Manage, edit. So let's say you had it closed and you go in this way. Now it's going to be in there. If you had it open, just refresh it and it'll show up. If you had it closed and you create it and save it in the theme editor, then it'll be in there. So now I go to settings, and now I go to global themes, and I come down here and you can see my DC promos is in there, and I click on it and it automatically updates the colors for anything that is tagged at brand primary in the CSS. So like I said, that's a little more advanced. I can even get in there and update the button color if I wanted to. So there is multiple ways to get in there and do a lot of things, but I think that's going to wrap it up for today. A good thing to check out if you guys have any questions and you kind of need some step-by-step tutorials is our Help Center. So if you go to help.distributorcentral.com, you can just come over here and you can see we have a full section here on websites. And you can look at all, you can type in keyword there, or you can look at all our most popular articles, which we have walkthrough guides and whatnot. This recording will be going out, so you'll receive a copy of the recording. You can go back and refer to it. But I think that's going to do it for today, guys. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to give us a call. Our office hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you can reach us at 888-516-7401, or feel free to email us anytime at info@distributorcentral.com. I hope you guys are doing well, and have a great day.